my wife has encouraged me to share about the songs on June. She's just kind of like, you're too shy about it. So you need to be saying stuff about it. I'm going to be vulnerable and put myself out there. Just talk about it more. So if you've listened to the record, thank you. Thank you. I spent so much time and energy. Not just me, but other people too, like Michael Minkoff and Jimmy Smith and Rob Jones and many other people, wonderful, sweet people who helped play on the record and just be a part of it. So anyway, but I want to go song by song. The first track is called Mañana Sun. I don't really want to be like, this is the inherent meaning of these songs. Mainly what I want to share is just kind of the stories behind them, sort of the inspirations. I have no control over, once I put it out there, I have no control over what people think I'm saying or whatever. Much to my chagrin, I have no control over that. And sometimes the other people's interpretation is cooler than whatever I had come up with. So, and by the way, I will say, as an artist, we love it when you ask questions. Don't believe the myth that like I don't want to bother him or her or these artists. I don't want to intrude on them by asking about stuff. We love those questions. So if anybody else is pretending like, oh, I'm too busy to be bothered by your stupid fan questions, fans, I hate the fans. Well, they need to get over themselves because I love those questions. I love talking about it. So let's talk about the song itself. Structurally, I did this thing where I took, I like to write in composition books, and so on one side of the page, I took the formula of a song that I really like. It's not by me, and then sort of wrote out the skeleton of that song. Like, what is the formula of this song that I like so much, and that I just love to listen to. Study what that was, and I'm talking like intro, verse 1, pre-chorus, chorus, turnaround, whatever that is. Figure out specifically what that is, and like make little notes in there about the bridge. Doesn't really feel like a bridge, but it's just this kind of little break that we take. And then the third verse is really what feels like the bridge, even though it's the third verse or something like that. Little specific notes like that. You have that structure, and then I go over here on the right page. I don't do this for every song, but I did this for Mañana Sun. And then I went on the right page. I had that structure in mind, and then I just was like, okay, let's take that proven formula for a good song. Okay, wow. I said proven formula, and then a thumbs up came up. It was a proven formula. Productivity. Making connections. LinkedIn certified. Huge news for my business. I want to know what these key words are that just make little thought bubbles come up. Did I imagine that? You saw it. And then you go on the right page, and there's you kind of fill in the blanks with your own song. And then that was Mañana Sun. As far as the content of the song, so I wrote it before I ever met my wife. I wrote the song to my future wife, but I had no idea who my wife was going to be. I had not actually met Catherine at that point. It also came from a place of I had a friend who was going through, some kind of rejection or something like that. And I resonated so much with what he was going through because he was having this experience where it was like, it's like, but I want to be with so-and-so girl so bad that I'm just praying for it, and I'm like wanting to will it into existence, right? And I understood where he was coming from, and I think a lot of people go through this, whether it's a relationship or it's like I really want this job to happen, or I really want this or that thing to happen, and it's like if I just want it bad enough, and if I just pray for it hard enough, then it must happen because it's almost kind of like that. There's that caricature: God is not a vending machine, which is true. God does love to give us what we need, though. And I think in retrospect, I'm looking back at the situation for this friend and in my own life and times that I've been like that I did not need the thing that I wanted so badly. Um, and in God's wisdom, He did not give me that thing because He knew that I did not need it. And that by keeping those things from me and from my friend, and from anyone who's been in that situation, that He was protecting us and was being kind to us, even though it hurt tremendously in the season that it happened. So, but that was kind of where the first line came from. No matter how you see it, it may never change. You can tell her that you love her, and she can still turn away. So the song, to me, was kind of a thing of like, okay, even though I've been through that stuff, things just keep falling apart. They're not working. I really want to be married. That's a huge theme on this album. I will say that, because that's when I wrote it. I mean, I was single for almost all the songs. I had no idea. Was not dating anyone, but I really wanted to be married. Automator was the only song that I wrote when I was dating my soon-to-be wife. But all the other ones, I was not dating anybody. I had little flings here and there and stuff, but was not not seriously dating anyone. And I say that because that is important to where the songs came from. Mañana Sun was one of those things. To me, it feels like it's kind of like, in spite of how painful those rejections and unreciprocated romantic interests, that kind of stuff, it's like, in spite of all that, how hurtful that was, this is a song of just stating like, well, you know what? Even though it may just all come crashing down, I'm going to try anyway. And I'm going to put myself out there, and I'm going to go out and be brave and put myself out there and try and meet my wife, whoever that is. I have no idea who that is. I hope she, and that's kind of the sentiment of, is like, I don't know who you are. I hope you're listening though. I hope you can hear the cry of my heart that I want to be married and I want to be with this person who is going to be faithful to me. Another big theme on this album was, okay, so I'm going to be brave and put myself out there. But I know that there's a lot of stuff that I have to work on, because there must be a reason that these relationships were not working in the past. And there are things about me that's like I needed to work on. During the writing of this record, I was going through a ton of therapy and counseling, and just doing a ton of digging into my story and the wounds of my past and things like that. So Jesus was meeting me in all of that with tremendous grace, because I had a really sour attitude towards myself for most of my life, especially the teenage years of my life. I was just like hated myself and thought that I was no good. I quoted Hebrews 13:9. It's good for the heart to be strengthened by grace. I firmly believe that, because it sure did strengthen my heart to know that even at my worst, at my lowest points, God was meeting me there with compassion and grace. That is what gave me strength to continue, to find out that like God didn't have this smoldering, look of disappointment when he looked at me, but that he saw his son Jesus when he looked at me. And so that is what gave me strength to be brave and to go out and try. And what I don't want to say is like the big message is romantic love is the solution to everything. It's not. But what I do want to say is like God's rescuing hand on my life really empowered me to live more in the trajectory that I wanted to go, like live more in line with the desires of my heart. And that's a continual process that's still happening today. So that's Mañana Sun as best as I can describe it. I'm a big feeler. I have lots of thoughts. I'll quote Nick Drake on this. If songs were lines in a conversation, the situation would be fine. Because I feel like I'm able to say emotionally and explain myself better through music than I am with my words, because with my words, they just spill out and go on forever. I love the piano on this song. A guy named Matt Guard played the piano for this track, and it was just, man, it just brought life to it that I really wanted. I'm a huge fan of the first few Bruce Hornsby records. Unfortunately, those get lumped under the genre yacht rock, which I think is the most corny thing I've ever heard in my life. But the sound of just that, man, just riffing ragtime kind of piano thing just really brought an energy to this, and a hopefulness and a whimsicalness to this track that wasn't there before. So big thanks to him. And I think that's everything I was going to say. There's obviously more to say about it, but that's the gist of the song. So there will be more to come, but that's Mañana Sun.